we're back here working on the Magna again today. Today what we're going to do, we're going to be installing a new headlight bucket, Harley Davidson style, and a new LED projector headlight. I've been messing around with this for a while now, trying to get something that works right. If you ever played with this headlight, you know it's kind of proprietary to Honda, so we have to take this entire assembly off and change it out for the new one. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Right here is where we're going to start. We got 2 screws underneath here. I already pre-loosened these because I've had this apart a couple times already, sizing things and whatnot, but they're just regular Phillips head screws, easy to take out. Take those 2 out. Okay, once your screws are out, you're just going to give this a little wiggle, and that should dislodge from this tab up here. If you plan on saving this housing, be careful because it's only plastic. Once inside, you have this connector here on the back of the headlight that you have to remove. That just pulls off. Okay, headlight's out of the way. Now we're going to have to disconnect all this wiring in here, which somebody that's never been in here before can seem like a bit of a task, but everything's color coded and it only goes one way, so it's very easy. You can just start unplugging stuff. As you can see, you got brown to brown, orange to orange, blue to blue, green to green, and so forth. So you're just going to go ahead and pop all those out. Easy. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to start with, as you can see, there's these big main harnesses in here. We're going to start by pushing this one down out of the way, and we're going to get this plug. There's a hole in the back here. You just have to kind of arrange the wires so that you can get one connector through at a time. They do fit through here. It's just kind of a pain to get them. You have to reach around the back to help yourself out. Whoops, we missed a couple here. Let's get these. Okay, underneath we're going to be looking at the mount point here. Let's see if we can see this. You have 10mm here and 10mm there that are going to have to come off. Okay, with those nuts out of our way, we can just slide these bolts right out. You can see there's a long through bolt here. There's 2 of them. Okay, once those are off, this comes right off, just like that. And we'll have this mount left. We're going to reuse this mount. Our new headlight assembly has these Harley style tabs on them, and it's very hard to find anything that's going to mount to this other than the original light. So I've purchased this light, which has very similar tabs, and with a little bit of ingenuity, that should sit right in there about like that and work perfectly for what we need. So what we're going to do first is we're going to find some washers here to space this extra gap out, and maybe a little piece of pipe for the center here. And what I've done so we can get our wires through is I took an 1.5" hole saw, which is just about the same size as our original housing hole, except this one's round instead of square. Now, as you can see, there's a sharp edge here now. Take and file that down, and we're going to take a piece of generic windshield washer, vacuum hose, whatever small hose you can get, and we're just going to take a razor knife and we're going to split this right down the middle. Okay, now you see we wrapped as much as you can in here, so it's not going to sit perfectly straight. But with that slit cut in the hose, you can wrap it right around like that, and it gives it a nice soft edge so the wires can lay on there and not get cut up. Okay, what I've gone ahead and done here is all this harness that we pulled out here, we're going to wrap it up nice and tight with tape, because this bucket is plenty big enough to fit everything, but the back of this is very big, so there's not much room left in here for all those wires. This plug here, I didn't want to cut it off. I want to retain the factory plug. Will fit right through this hole that we drilled. That's the reason we drilled that hole. And there's just about enough room in there for all of that. Now you can go ahead and tuck this stuff up in the back here, and with that in place you're not going to see any of that. Okay, now we're going to take this. I've gone ahead and taped up that extra wire so it doesn't short on anything. We can just plug that right into this socket here, and we're going to kind of twist the light around a few times to coil that wire up so that it's not does not retain the original Harley light backing ring, so we don't need that. All we need is our compression ring here. So it's going to be a little tricky to get on here. We just have to play around with it a little bit until that wire wants to sit in a happy spot back there. Okay, I did notice that once this is all installed, this light was just a little loose in there, so I didn't want it to turn and move around and vibrate, so I just wrapped this outside edge of the light with some electrical tape, so once this is squeezed on here you don't see it, and it keeps everything from moving around. Not the best fix, but if it works, it's not stupid. Now what we're going to do lastly here is we're going to kind of adjust our light here pretty close to where we want it, and then we're going to roll the bike out here and see what it looks like. Okay guys, we're all done. You can see the difference between that weak little factory headlight. It's hard to really see the difference between the high beam and the low beam with this, but I assure you the high beam is reaches quite a bit further out. Not to mention this thing just looks cool on here. You'll definitely be seen a lot better than you were before. Thanks for watching our video. Like and subscribe if you like what we see. I'm going to take a ride.